Greetings and welcome. Thanks for joining me at the Lightroom forecast for this, episode, I suppose, of the heart chakra today in the Altered Perspectives episodes. We are at the big kahuna, the major player, the heart, the center of appreciation of beauty, love, harmony, creativity, all those amazing things, while this muscle pumps our blood throughout our body. The heart has an amazing power, of which we all know that. So we're concentrating on the heart today in this chakra series. If you haven't looked at the last few weeks, we started at the base and we moved up. So here we are today. I guess the other side of this energy center, apart from the importance of an incredible initial point where we practice self-forgiveness in order to really relate to others on equal footing. The benefits of practicing some kind of practice, for want of a better term, of self-forgiveness, is that it allows us the ability to relate to others on far more equal level. It's an incredibly powerful way of actioning love, of actioning change in our lives and in the world around us. It's just, we all, poets, musicians, writers, have all artists. This heart-centered inspiration is an amazing, amazing center in our energy network. And it's the place that I believe is so beneficial to start from in any practice. So I guess the other sides of the heart chakra, this is also an area that governs, I guess, jealousy, vengeance, the inability to forgive others. Certainly comes from the inability to forgive oneself for whatever things they may well happen to be. So as everything has its different aspects, both a sort of more higher polarity to a lower polarity. Anyway, let's just get stuck into it today. We're going to pull a card first and foremost for the heart. I believe Glastonbury is, in a global sense, the center, the heart center of our planet. I know Uluru is in the area of the solar plexus, which I was thinking about earlier. It seems so appropriate, the central Australian point of heat, of the sort of vital solar force. So yeah, interesting. If anyone's in Glastonbury watching, thank you very much for watching. Anyway, let's shuffle for the heart. We've been shuffling these cards for a wee while I sat here doing some quiet time before this reading. We will go back to the base, work our way through as a general, very, very general reading for the collective. So in this heart area, we get the download director. There's a little bit of work that goes on in this card, which is generally about looking for signs and signals. We will relate this to the heart center, the chakra of the heart. The download director, it's a really, it's kind of like preparing a landing place for new information that comes through, whether that be in dream time. There is a card that precedes this, which is data dreaming. Or actually it comes after this card, because of course we have prepared the nest, as it were, for some interesting new downloads. You know, one could liken it in this, as this card comes out, in the position of the heart, where I think we are in some ways entering a new, in this new time, because it is a new time. We're rolling over. It's the beginning of it. It's the initial infant steps of it. But I think we are moving into a more heart-based, nurturing time. In order to do this, we do need to be able to receive new information, which I think we all are on the planet. We all are getting elements of new information coming through, and it's starting to really speed up. So the download director really says to me in this reading, coming in the position of the heart, is that we really are preparing our nest to bring this new information in and to move forward with it in a really new, inspired and loving way. So I think that's pretty lovely. Let's just come back through. We'll start at the base at this current time. This is at this current time for the global collective, for this planet. We look at what's happening at the base chakra at the moment, this point of our foundation, our ability, our survival skills, our ability to work within the tribal basis of where we begin life, and what that is all about. We see the card of, it's an autumnal card, this card. There are 4 cards in this deck that are seasonal. We have contemplate and cut back, preparation. This is a card of preparation. I think in order to, if we are looking at venturing into this new epoch, this new period, when we go back through and look at our values, this is central in the base area, in the base chakra, the root chakra. We look at our values, we look at our loyalties to our tribal group. Of course, when we move up to the navel, we start to move out and have relationship, not so much collective, but we have relationship with ourselves and others. It becomes a more of a two-way street here. But in the area of the base chakra, when we see preparation, we see contemplate and cut back, we question maybe some of the belief systems that we have had, our loyalties. Do we want to continue to have loyalties to particular things which do not serve us individually or collectively at this time? Of course, there are major challenges in even in the material sense, and in a more spiritual, psychological, emotional sense, where we have grow and decide that, no, there are certain loyalties that do not serve our personal integrity anymore. So we see this kind of review, a cutting back, just looking at some of these things at this current time collectively. This is very general reading. Now we move up to, I mean, it just does seem that the heart and the central point with the download director is like it's not only a landing point, but it's a beginning point, obviously, as well. The central point. Here, from this point, we move to the sacral chakra around the navel, and we see what is going on here at this moment in time for the collective global community. Wow. Now this is really pretty pertinent. We get the energy accountant, this wild figure here with the tree in the background. He's got his abacus and his board, his whiteboard. So in the sacral chakra, of course, if you obviously know the area yourselves, we enter into relationships, and relationship, it's a two-way street. We start to really navigate our personal power, our energetic connections. Here we have the energy accountant, who really is, he's looking at the debit, the credit. He's looking at what he puts his energy into, and whether that is, whether he's getting, he's always in depletion mode or not. The ideal is that we reach some kind of balance. Often we can put a lot of energy into, it seems to be this week of readings, that the idea of putting energy into these thought forms, which become potential seeds for, manifestation, for want of a better word, that we put energy into some thought forms that are actually quite destructive for us. So we need to be aware. Or destructive, maybe not helpful is a better term. So the energy accountant is very adept at this. We need to bring on board that this sort of gauging of a ledger of energy, of what it is. I have learnt a lot from Carolyn Mace's lectures and things like that. I think she's an amazing woman with incredible insights. And I have learned a lot about the energy, the way energy works. And that's, that's been one source over the years. But anyway, I digress. I've forgotten where I was at there. In a global sense, we're looking at, this two-way street, this negotiating of power in that sacral area. We look at our energy depletion or our energy increase, whatever that is. So it's interesting to get the energy accountant. There's a shift in all of this, I believe. This is part of what we're entering into in this new period of time that we are entering now. And of course, our energetic approach starts to become far more expansive than just five sensory, is what I get. And we do see the download director in the heart position. We do see that the heart has a huge magnetizing effect on those around us, on what goes on around us. Let's see what's happening in the solar plexus today for the globe. Things are moving. There's a new fresh burst of vitality. We get the gear shifter. He's a man that moves things around, or a woman. But we also see the passing of time, or we see, not the passing of time, but we see an elder with a baby. We see this expansive area of a life, and how quickly things can shift, how quickly things move when we action our needs, our desires. It's a beautiful card, but it does also direct us to know very fairly and squarely where we are at this point on our internal compass, because there's a quickness to this, there's a fast moving energy to the gear shifter, and it can accelerate very quickly at any time. So it is important, as life goes so quickly, it seems sometimes, doesn't it, when you talk to well, we know this ourselves, but certainly elderly people often say, oh, well, I just feel like I'm still, 25, but time's moved very quickly. So there's in the solar plexus area, we just get a sense of where we're sitting on our own personal compass, and that means that what we're drawing in is we have a very clear idea of what it is that we want to and how we want to use our vitality, because there's a dialogue between our solar plexus and our sacral at this moment in terms of energy use. Our vitality at the solar plexus with the heart. Oh, what am I talking about? I've got that in the wrong place. With the heart as a landing position here. We're moving up. So now, let's see. We head from the heart, which is presenting today as a landing pad for new intel with the download director. We not only sense new information coming through as it comes down through into the crown, into the mind, but we're really feeling it in the heart at the moment. Now, that may well be something to do with this really nurturing full moon. Who would know? But let's just see where we are at in terms of our will center, how we express what's happening here in the solar plexus and the sacral, how it comes out in our will center, our voice. Again, force of will. Well, it seems, which makes a lot of sense. We get the monast, which is about walking in two worlds at once. We get an understanding that this is what is happening as I speak of the fact that our sixth senses, we have and are entering into a new zone where we have vastly more sensory intelligence, if you could use the word intelligence, or sensory ability. The monast there's an aspect of this card which is about that, which is about been able to keep things moving in the material world. But you have one foot in this world and one foot in the world of your own guidance, your spirit, and your soul. We see a graduation scroll because he has mastered this balancing act, of which it is a balancing act. I find that interesting in the will center. We had, if you can see, I love this card. His third eye is rather large. I love that card. So we'll head up to the third eye area, the mind. It seems that things are in kind of quite a nice soft balance at the moment here, which is interesting. So we head to the mind area. There seemed to be a kind of clear channel happening through these centers today. And this is such a general, global, very collective reading. There's a clear channel. There's a lot of fresh air moving through. Oh, we get two cards coming out for the mind, the third eye. We get incubation. This is a time for digesting somehow. We get retreat and review, incubation, one of those seasonal cards as what is happening down there at the base in preparation. This is a really quiet, smooth, it just feels like that at this time, very gentle, very gentle energies at this current time that are moving us along. We see and relate these two cards, the other one of which is the Maiden. It's about a period where we understand that there is a huge, I'm not going to use the word transformation because we all know that, but there's a huge transition about to occur. This is a card, a prepubescent card. We see the hourglass, the sands in the hourglass beside this Maiden. This time heralds or indicates or points to, I should say, a very quiet, a very still time. But we know that there is this major transition of which we are heading into. We are just moving into it collectively. I'm relating this to the collective global community, world, planet. We're moving into it. It's a natural part of our growth. It's a natural part of our evolution. So we're moving here. It's a very quiet, still time. And there's a bubbling, a very little fizzy, tiny little fizzy bubbling sound of what I would call a kind of quiet excitement, a quiet acceptance. A still, quiet acceptance is what I feel here. And this is in the third eye. This is in the mind. So as we venture into this new zone where we are using far more than our sixth sensory selves, we're using far more than that. We're heading into a time where, because this is just an evolutionary process, we certainly navigate here in our will centers, our abilities to exist in different worlds at one given time without losing our spirit to the world, to others, to things that are going on around us, to this material world. I think that's quite amazing. Well, it's interesting, isn't it? Let's see what the crown, the beautiful crown, where it's a gateway for amazing sort of insight and inspiration. What's the crown doing at this current time? Yeah. At the crown, at this current time, we see the key keeper, this beautiful woman, with her 7 keys, which represent those 7 energy points within our body. We're becoming more comfortable with this. I think maybe there's a lot of people working at it. When I say working at it, you ask, working at what? Working to understand all of this, that putting ourselves to a certain degree, certainly our initial beginnings, under a slight, could you say microscope, under a slight, not critical view, but looking at it objectively, looking at how we use our energy, how we negotiate our power, seeing that within our solar plexus area, the center of real charged vitality, that we need to have us understand our central point, our core, and that is strong for us to move forward, to be able to really nurture this new information that's coming through, but it's nestling within our hearts, because that's where it needs to generate out from. Anyway, so the key keeper allows us to journey, through our internal energy systems with as much as can be at any given time an objective view of our inner mansion, globally, personally. And there is I'm not going to say there's a reward in this. There's an individual reward which spills out into the collective, if you understand. I don't know if I'm explaining this particularly well today, but the key keeper is a beautiful marker at the gate in some ways. Yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting card. Quite beautiful here. Quite a beautiful reading. Look, I'm going to grab we're just going to, because I love these. They've been quite light-hearted for the moon time and tides reading. I'm just going to get a little pixie and fairy card for the heart center today. We'll just see. We get to coming out in the Brian Froud Fairy Oracle. There is included in the deck a blank card, which is one of the cards that we get for this heart chakra area. It is a blank card, and it is designed for you to put your own figure on it, to put yourself on it if you wanted to. It is what you want it to be, and I guess that's appropriate when we're engaging from our heart center, it is what you want it to be. It's a very dreamy day here, I think, today. I'm getting a bit swept away. With that, we get Lace the Moon's Daughter. This is a wonderful card that suggests moving in harmony, moving in unison, which I think is a wonderful card to get if we're looking at this heart center. We're flying in unison by the light of this gorgeous full moon. This is quite a moony card. You can see the reflection off these figures of that luminescent moonlight. And this card is about, moving together by the light of the moon that shows our way, our path. It illuminates our path. There's been generally a lot of the readings during this week, whether it's this chakra one or the time and tides, a lot of it has been about illuminating pathways, either for yourself, others, the reflective nature of that. When we look at hang on a minute. When we look at pathways of light, because we see pathways of light in each other as well, of course. So harking back to the card of faith in the journey map, which is about recognizing that luminous internal light, this magnetized sort of luminescence that radiates from others. We see this, we feel it within ourselves. When we recognize it within ourselves, we recognize it within others also. This is really the guts of the heart in its central point, where we meet equally, without judgment, without defense. It is a wonderful ideal, but it is possible to work at this. I guess the new information coming through in relation to the key keeper is that we do work at this. We work at it, and we discover so many new, wonderful things along the way. I hope this reading was of interest to you. So thanks for joining me for this altered perspective reading. We've just got the last 3 energy centers to do over the next, it will be over the next couple of weeks, and excuse me, and take good care. Thanks for joining me. We'll see you soon. Thanks a lot. Cheery bye. Toodle.